for the best.
So we're
Oh, hey, I can hear it on stream.
were we
Yeah, there we go.
completely
There we go.
muted?
There we go. No,
Okay.
you guys weren't. There we go. All right.
Okay,
All right.
well, Ansem, thank you for telling us that the stream couldn't hear us.
Repeat.
All right, that's a bit cursed, but
All right, we'll get going back here on the patch notes here. Sorry about that stream. We had no idea we were muted. Okay.
we're gonna start over then.
Yeah, let's briefly talk about the Aatrox stuff again. We'll just briefly go over it, like just give a summary of your thoughts on it, because we already talked about it for like what 8 minutes. So
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Just your thoughts briefly on the Aatrox changes here. It's been up on stream long enough. When we were talking about it, people probably read it.
Okay, so I'll start then. Or that was loud. Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
Yes, someone yelled right next to my headset. Sorry.
Anyway, okay. I think the passive change is significantly bigger than the Q nerf. The Q doesn't matter all that much because it's just going to be wave clear. It basically makes it so your Q no longer crits minions. Usually you're overkilling them anyway by the time you have like 1.5, 2 items, so that doesn't matter all that much. It's just an early game lane phase nerf. The much bigger nerf to his lane phase, though, is going to be the passive, because now he can get bullied out by champions like Jace, or Kennen, or Nico in the top lane, so that's going to be a bit rough for him. He probably drops from like first, second place presence top laner in pro to 4th or 5th.
Yeah, agreed. He's much more punished by poke lanes, especially poke lanes that have poor wave clear. Like, I think his Malphite matchup will get a lot worse.
Okay. And then like virtually, like we'll probably virtually not see him at all in mid, even in pro play at this point.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a basic summary of what we talked about with Aatrox while our mics were all muted for some reason. So Akali, let's talk about Akali. We got her perfect execution, her R, no longer stuns people, and then the damage was also lowered from 255 to 645 to 195 to 645. Cooldown also hurt a little bit. Instead of 120 to 100, it's 160 to 100. So the level 3 values for those remain the same. Level 1 and 2 has been nerfed. But we were both talking. We were all talking that like we see the stun as like the biggest nerf going on here.
Yeah. The problem with removing the stun is you can't guarantee a one-shot now. Like, you ult someone as Akali, like, in the current patch, you stun them, you guarantee your E will hit, you can follow that E and get an R2 for free, and you guarantee a kill. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Basically, like, it just opens her up to a lot of counterplay that she didn't previously have.
Yes. Akali's ability to one-shot people, especially when they're supposed to them, go down significantly.
You're cutting out a little bit. It's kind of hard to figure out what you're saying. Can you repeat that, Laning?
To turn my sensitivity down.
Okay, all right.
I tried to turn it off to deal with the noise in my house.
Yeah,
and just
sorry.
ended up muting me.
All right. You want to try repeating yourself there on that?
Yes. The stun is a big deal. It will allow supports to peel Akali off of their AD carries, where they couldn't do that before. This is really significant, especially the stun.
Yeah.
Not to gloss over the other changes, though, I think that the 40 CDR off rank 1 ultimate is also ridiculously big.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you could have just removed the stun and nerfed the damage, and this would have been significant enough to lower her out of pro by, or at least drop her presence down a lot. The cooldown, like, it feels like solo queue Akali is just doomed now.
Yeah.
Might as well just remove Akali from solo queue. I really don't think even Akali mains or one tricks will be able to make champion work now.
Yeah, it's gonna be real rough. Like especially like gold and lower. It's gonna be really ridiculously hard.
Well,
yeah, you'll ban Akali on when somebody hovers it on your team now.
The problem with with that is in Pro, this isn't as big of a problem because you can get leads in other ways. But in solo queue, you want to solo kill a lot as a callie to snowball and win the game yourself.
Yeah.
But when you can only ult once every 2 minutes and 40 seconds before level 11, and because you're building Gunblade first, you're not building CDR, that's really hard to do. It's hard to get a ton of solo kills when you don't have your ultimate for 3 minutes effectively.
Yeah, it's geez. Like, this is just rough. Like I'm not in a Kali main by any means. I don't even touch the champ, but like I still feel a little bad about this. Like, well, now I have no incentive to even try learning her at this point.
It's like I'm by no means an Akali main, but I like have Mastery 4 on her. I play her like every once in a while in norms, and like this is just like never again.
Yeah, they might. Akali's on the list of failed reworks, I think. I mean, if she wasn't already. Like, this champion's kind of unplayable in low elo, period. Even
Well,
worse
no,
than
she
like
was
in
definitely already
ZRI.
on the list of failed reworks because she's been in pro for literally a year. Like since she came out, she's been high pro presence, and Riot refuses to nerf her. So.
Yeah.
Well, until now, anyway.
Until this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like this is like what 2% solo queue win rate and drops her presence from like pick like 100% pick ban in pro to like I don't know, like maybe like top 10 mids.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This feels pretty big to me.
I mean, I think if anything for pro play just makes her like hyper situational. Like a pro team is only going to pick a Kali if they can match her up against like one or two specific lane opponents, you know?
Yes.
Also, like Akali and Silas before this was a skill matchup. Now Silas is just gonna dumpster this lane.
Oh yeah. Oh
Akali,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure Silas's rank 1 ultimate, like the cooldown for him stealing the same ult twice is lower than Akali's ult cooldown now.
I think you're right.
Yes, that sounds correct.
So yeah, no, this feels pretty doomed for Akali.
Yeah, it feels pretty bad. It feels
Kali
pretty
would
bad.
like lose all melee matchups in solo queue at this point, I think.
Also, do we know if this is Worlds patch? I think it's probably 9.
There's
there's
one more patch after this for Worlds patch.
Yeah.
This is patch 9.18 and Worlds will be played on patch 9.19. So they could always revert the stun, or they could always get rid of the cooldown nerf or something, you know, before Worlds if they feel like they hit her too hard with this. So, you know, we'll see, I guess. But yeah. All right, so let's move on to Annie. We really harped on Akali there for a while, so Annie's a much easier change to talk about. Basically, it's just on her E. It just gives her some bonus movement speed here, adding a 25% plus 1.5% per level, decaying bonus movement speed over a 1.5 second duration. Damage reduction was reduced. It's not 16 to 40% anymore. Now it's 10 to 22%. And the cooldown is also had a nerf. It is not 10 seconds at all ranks. It is 15 seconds at all ranks. Still, even with those two nerfs, I see the movement speed as making this change more good than bad, because a good Akali main will use the E as a movement speed bonus and getting her stun ready so that she can actually like surprise people by getting the stun off on them and chasing them down.
The thing about this one, I think this actually affects Annie's build path, because like before this, you always first item protobout on Annie, like all the Annie one tricks do anyway, so that they can protobout ult. But now since you're getting like on level 6, that's what 33% move speed when you E. If you just rush Sork shoes and go Ludens, like you can actually just one shot somebody on like level 8 with 2 items. You don't really need the protobout to gap close anymore.
Yeah.
But it's also just kind of modernizing the kit.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't know, maybe the damage reduction nerf, like maybe that'll matter more than like it looks like. I don't know, but like I see it overall just like it's just it's not bad, you know.
I think the damage reduction nerf matters more for support Annie than it does for mid Annie.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see support Annie all that often though.
No one sees
Yeah,
support
I don't
Annie.
see
I just-
support Annie
for
either.
for all of the 4 people that still play support Annie after season 5, rough one, boy. Nah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not nearly as much of a thing to talk about as Aatrox and Akali were, but like, hey, Molten Shield finally gets like a weird change instead of just stats being moved around like it has been for the last several years,
Yeah. Wait, does this also give movement speed to Tibbers, or does it just give it to Annie?
It's unclear, but considering that Molten Shield also gets put on Tibbers whenever she casts it, I would assume so.
Because that could actually be kind of meaningful.
Yeah,
Maybe? I don't.
giving Tibbers movement speed would actually be pretty good. But Tibbers does not deal a lot of sustained damage anyway, so.
Yeah, this is true. But that's kind of neat. Like, because there are those times when you see an Annie like burst somebody down to like 50 HP and then they just flash away and Tibbers can't catch them. Maybe Tibbers catches them now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, whatever. It's Annie. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. It's Annie, whatever. Like, only a select group of people play Annie anymore anyway. So, all right. Moving on, let's talk about Aurelion Sol, which will probably be the least talked about thing on our entire stream tonight. All they did was took his base health from 510 to 575. That's all they did. Just gave him 65 health at level 1. Boom.
That's
done.
ridiculously high, though. Like,
it's to compensate for his awful armor.
All of Asol's counters are AD assassins. Give him armor. He has like 18 base armor. Why are you giving him health? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't get
it. And even against mages, who cares if he's like this beef ball in the mid lane that can't die to a mage? He still doesn't do anything because like the one niche that he filled, you took away from him like a patch or two ago. So whatever.
Yeah, like basically like, oh cool, you gave him more health, but like it's still not going to change how he's played, where he's played, or what his build path is. So like whatever.
Yeah, I don't think Asol is going to be relevant unless they revert. They need to pull a Kog'Maw and just say this was wrong. Whatever. Talk about Caitlyn.
Yeah. Let's move on to Caitlyn because Caitlyn's matters more. It seems like it's another really tiny thing. It just moves her base attack damage from 60 to 62, but because she already has a longer attack range than most AD carries, that's actually kind of a big deal. It lets her poke a lot more at level 1. It lets her poke hurt a lot more at level 1 and after. So like I actually see that as kind of mattering more.
Yeah, it feels like maybe 0.5% buff to solo queue Caitlyn. She was already kind of breaking into pro play, at least in North America. I don't know about other regions. I don't think they saw Caitlyn much, but like this is one of those changes, like a few we'll see later, that's just like, oh hey pros, remember this exists? Why don't you play this?
Yeah, pretty much.
That a small buff base AD would actually boost the most.
I think so.
Yeah, I think Caitlyn is the champion that scales best with a small base AD increase. So this is actually pretty meaningful for 2 base.
Yeah, especially because like a lot of the crit ADCs now are building Essence Reaver and Infin, but Caitlyn doesn't do that. She builds 2 attack speed items. She builds 2 Zeal, so
yeah,
more AD is more impactful.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I remember a patch earlier this year that lowered her base attack damage by a couple of points. So like this is essentially just like reverting that back to the way it used to be.
Yeah, they gave her another buff though as part of that thing. I think
don't remember that at all.
I think they reduced her mana.
It was a long time ago. So
yeah, they reduced her mana on her Q and took away base AD because they wanted her to use an ability.
Yeah. Still though, like for laning phase, like this is gonna matter during laning phase. So I would expect to see her more in pro play after this.
Yeah, she was already kind of on the fringe. I mean, if nothing else, NA AD carries are playing her, so maybe we'll see them play her more. The world still doesn't seem to like her. I can understand why, like, a lot of other ADCs are better. They might not be better after this patch. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We have more AD carries to talk about further down on the list, so we'll get there. All right, Echo. Just changes to his W here, Parallel Convergence. The cost went from 50 to 70 mana to 30 to 50 mana. Just cut it down by 20 at every single level. And then the stun duration went from 1.75 seconds to 2.25 seconds. Essentially just makes him just makes you able to play him more aggressively during laning phase is all this really does.
Yes.
The
It-
stun sounds like it matters. The mana, I don't think it really does.
This should really buff jungle Echo a lot because camps don't dodge stuns, and mana is important as an AP jungler.
So you see this as a change more for like bringing Echo into the jungle role versus seeing him in mid lane.
Yes, this is like yes. I mean, I think he'll still be pretty similar in mid lane. I mean, he might. It's a small buff, but I think it's much more jungle focused. Like, stun duration on abilities that are hard to hit really buffs jungle clear.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I didn't think about that aspect of it because I'm not a jungler and it's the last role I would like to play. So
It's still kind of crazy to me that the buffs Echo just got weren't enough because they were like really big.
Yeah, no, Echo might. I mean, Echo. People were starting to play like Echo in the jungle, and then they did this. Now I'm gonna start playing Echo in the jungle.
I feel like
playing jungle.
I want to say that Echo might just replace Akali, but I don't know. Because, like, Echo is always that mage assassin that's okay, but Silas and Akali exist. So maybe Silas is, maybe now Echo is just okay enough to be just better than Akali.
Yeah. Also, Silas's need to like all in makes defensive ability with a long stun like this W better. Like I think it'll help him a lot more against those type of matchups. Like this,
I mean,
the parallel convergence is not helping Echo versus Xerath. It's just not.
yeah,
I
the
mean-
thing with, like, Echo versus Silas, though, is that, like, Silas stealing Echo ult is just awful. Like, Silas
Yeah.
just 1v9s the game with Echo R.
Yeah, Echo R is really good, and Silas gets to take it. It's like lots of alt-reliant champions. Silas is just great against them. If you get to play against Malphite or a Mumu, I mean, Silas is just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I just I like Echo as a champ. I like his kit. So don't get me wrong. Any change to him that makes him more viable in pro play, like I would love to watch. But whether it's in jungle or laning phase, I don't know. I mean, you've both put up like good arguments here for like both of those roles getting more Echo put in there.
I mean, there's also, like, I know that there's one Chinese pro player that like one tricks Akali in solo queue with like an 80% win, or Echo rather, in solo queue, and has like an 80% win rate. I don't know if he's going to Worlds or not, but like if we're gonna see Echo, that's who I would expect to play it.
Now watch like Svenskeren breaks it out of nowhere and like dominates with it like in one game, and we don't see it anymore.
The
after
return
that.
of the return of Licorice is Echo top, dude.
Oh, that'd be great. I would kill to see that. I would actually love
I
to
would
see
not. Don't play that. That was awful.
No. Let me see it. He can redeem it.
No, it's cursed. Move on, Evelyn. No, get off this.
All right. We'll move on, Evelyn. We already kind of talked about jungle, so here, in a full jungle champion. Here we go. They've changed her R, Last Caress, her ultimate. Empowered damage amplifier. Instead of being 100% against enemies below 30% of their maximum health, it is now 140% against enemies below 30% of their maximum health. And the empowered damage is now 50. It's 50 higher at level 1, 100 higher at level 2, and 150 higher at level 3. And the ability power modifier went from 1.5 to 1.8. Just a straight buff.
I know we have split opinions on this.
Yes, we do.
We did talk about this briefly before the stream started, yeah.
I don't think it's a big change because Evelyn already killed you with ultimate if you weren't a tank.
I mean,
yeah, but
this is true, but at the same time, like, this is a lot more damage. Like,
yeah, 140% is a lot more damage.
because this isn't gonna matter for like late game really, but for early game, like Evelyn's execute damage doesn't kill you until she has items usually. Like
Yeah,
early in the game, like level 6 Evelyn, like with just jungle item, her ult doesn't usually kill you. Now it actually might.
Yeah. No, I do see it might be impactful there, but Evelyn usually does have some AP like pretty quickly after she gets 6. Like, I mean, Evelyn just kind of rushed a bunch of AP stuff usually. So
Yeah.
this might be a buff at level 6, but it's probably not a buff at level 10. And I mean, it's still a buff, but overkilling champions isn't really very useful.
Well, the thing with Evelyn is that she is always going to be I want to snowball as early as I can, as fast as I can, because once I hit like level 14, at that point I'm not very useful unless I'm 12-0.
Yeah.
So I think this is really impactful for snowballing early game with Evelyn. Like that extra 40%, an extra 50 base damage, extra 0.3 AP ratio is going to be really big for her early game.
I think that might be right, but I still think you're overkilling most of your targets anyway. This will help Evelyn against tank matchups, though, for sure. I think Evelyn won't just be beaten up by tank anymore. Because
Yeah. But I mean, like, let's just discuss the real reason though why this change was made to Evelyn. The real reason this change was made to Evelyn is because Cloud9 wanted to play her a lot last year at Worlds, and it never worked out all that well. Now it's gonna matter more this time.
Didn't Blabber hit rank 1 NA? Show me that Blabber Evelyn again, man.
didn't they just nerf Evelyn? Like, they just nerfed her clear
they
speed.
nerfed her, I believe, 2 or 3 patches ago because
then
she
they
was
just-
like, yeah, she was like 54%, I want to say, win rate in high elo solo queue.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is still like not as big of a buff as that was a nerf, but she's
Yeah.
probably
Clear
still going to
speed
be
on a
relevant.
champion that's vulnerable to being invaded is really important. Taking that away is big, much bigger than a bit of overkill ultimate.
Yeah. But like the conspiracy theorist in me wants to think that some of these changes were made to like favor North America heading into Worlds, you know?
Little did you know, Jat actually just wrote down a few changes to be programmed in later before he left.
Oh,
So
nice.
Perfect. This is what the world's meta is going to be, guys.
Perfect. Jet's our inside guy to make it work in our favor this time around.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we need all the help that we can get now that we're sending fucking Clutch Gaming to
better
Worlds
than sending TSM, man.
I mean, yeah, actually I disagree with that. TSM's awful, but like if they had a
They're
month,
awful.
I think they're awful, but I think they have a higher ceiling than Clutch does, even with Spica.
I mean,
Like-
I'd rather send Clutch or CLG than TSM.
I think Clutch will be infinitely more entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, definitely
But
entertaining.
I think TSM has a higher chance of doing anything. That's I mean, whatever.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I hate TSM in all of their forms. So like,
Maybe if
I don't wanna
they
cheer for
gave
them ever.
Spica something that wasn't Sejuani every game and let him play carry jungles that he won tricks in solo queue.
All right. Well, you know, that's those are the Evelyn changes. Let's move on to Jin. So Jin gets his base attack damage was moved up from 57 to 59. All right, let's talk about Kaisa now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Okay,
is
so
really not
Kai'Sa's
very
eaten.
impactful.
They mean literally nothing. Like maybe you'll get one kill you wouldn't in lane occasionally, but like Jin builds 3 Infinity Edges. Who cares about 2 AD?
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't see this mattering at all. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't see this mattering either. I think it's kind of a pointless change. So moving on to Kaisa.
I mean, like Riot says that it's to give him a bit more oomph to better bully out greedy lanes, and it's like, but that's not how you would do it. Like
No.
giving him 2 extra attack damage isn't going to solve that issue.
Give him a longer root duration.
Yeah, like a longer
wanna do
root
that.
duration would do that, or like more
Oh,
damage.
that might break the champion. Long
you know?
root durations on AD carries are really important. AD carries with CC are good.
Yeah, but like all they would have to do is like increase the root damage to his W at level 1, and like from level 2 to 5 it remains the same, and that would be a better solution than this if they want to make
Didn't
him.
they already do that?
No.
I swear they
Okay.
buffed his root duration at some point this season from like 1 to 1.25.
Yeah, I think they did at one point, but it was like you got it buffed later. It wasn't, I don't think it was like a level 1 thing. I think it was like once you got level 5 in the ability, you got an extra bit of root duration or something.
No, I thought that it was like quarter of a second at all ranks, which was basically meaningless. But I could be wrong.
No, I thought it was late game, but whatever.
Whatever. 2 AD on Jhin doesn't matter.
Yeah, 280
Okay.
on Jhin doesn't really matter. So yeah, well let's just move on to Kai'Sa at this point. Kai'Sa's change, I think this is a really interesting decision. They changed her her supercharge, so that the bonus attack speed went from 40 to 80% down to 40 to 60%. Instead of gaining 10% at every level, it now only gains 5% at each level. And I think this just makes her like in laning phase, it's not going to matter so much, but like it's just going to make it so that like you have to be a lot smarter about how you prioritize your targets in team fights. I think is all that this does, and like
Well,
I think that's a really interesting way to change her.
Laning phase,
Yeah.
this does not matter. You have 1 point in it to level
Yeah.
8. So this is purely for mid to late game, and by then you're going to have some attack speeds. So even then, that 20% isn't as big as you would think. So it feels like maybe a 1% nerf, but not
Maybe?
that big. I don't
mean,
think it's certainly
think it
not
might
more than
reduce
1%.
play rate.
No,
It might
probably.
reduce play rate, but I don't know if it's gonna like reduce win rate. That
Like we're still going to
hopefully-
see. Sorry, I thought you were done. We're still going to see her just as much in pro play, but like I think this is going to affect her in solo queue a lot more than anything.
She's like the top 3 ADC. I think maybe she's like top 4 now. Like maybe Caitlyn's better. It's probably not.
I mean, because
don't-
the way that you used to play Kai'Sa was that, you know, every team fight mid to late game, you would just rush in. It didn't really matter what target you picked to use your ultimate on, as long as you like went into the fight, used your Q, hit some auto attacks, and you were good to go. But now, like, you can't just go in on like a tanky or somewhat tanky champion, kill them quickly, and then move on to other targets. Like, that's not going to work the same way anymore.
Yeah, Kai'Sa will have more trouble killing tanks. Still be able to kill squishy champions. They can press buttons.
Yeah, you're picking Kai'Sa to be a diver with your assassins. You're not really picking her to kill tanks unless a lot of stuff is banned usually. So
Yeah, but like down in silver, gold, bronze, you know, like people don't use Kai'Sa that way. They just use Kai'Sa to just hit people.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like in pro, this matters not very much. In solo queue,
Yeah.
it's like maybe a 1% win rate
Yeah,
loss.
we're still gonna see her just as much as we used to in pro play. It's not gonna change that at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, like if you do the math on this, it's like a 10% DPS drop without items. So with items, it's not even 10% DPS loss. So it's really not that big of a deal.
And it might not even change her build path at all. People might still do exactly the same build path. So
But maybe you don't see Tyr and see Stormrazor to make up for the attack speed you lost, but I doubt it. I think Tyr's still better.
yeah.
I love the tier build on her. So I want to see that stay.
You
All
see
right.
the Cody Sun Triforce build?
No, tell me about it.
Oh, did you watch the clutch for? Was it clutch for CLG that he did it?
I didn't get to see a lot of the gauntlet matches. I only like saw the result.
Okay,
afterwards,
there was
so.
one game that went like 50 minutes. So Cody Sun sold his boots for a Triforce on Kai'Sa.
Oh, that's amazing.
So he sold to the back line with Triforce like one shot. It might
That's
have been clutch versus
amazing.
TSM. I don't remember which one it was.
I love that. I love that. Awesome.
Yeah, Triforce is a really great late game item to pick up on basically any champion except tank.
All right. Moving on to Kale here. We got her E, Starfire Spellblade. Base passive damage, instead of going 10 to 30, it is now 15 to 35. So every rank was increased by 5. It's a little bit of a buff.
I don't see why this was needed. Kale was fine.
Yeah,
and you didn't
I
change
thought
her
Kale was
enough
fine.
for it to matter either. So
Yeah, this was mostly pointless. I think Kale was fine. I think this actually may be a bit bigger than we thought, especially into champions that can't close the gap on her. She'll get to E them over and over and over again. So it'll actually end up being a lot of damage if she gets to, EU 20 times because you can't catch her. But yeah, I don't think this change.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Riot thinks that, like, oh, maybe more pro teams will look at her as an option now.
No.
yeah, I don't know. I
don't
feel
know.
like
Pros will
I
not
feel
play
like
Kale.
last patch was like if you were gonna pick Kale, last patch would have been the reason you picked Kale. It's not. This is not changing Kale into this monster.
I mean, I'm trying to come up with any reason why like Riot adjusted her E.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently she was slightly weaker than intended, according
I
to
mean,
the quote.
but like, what does that mean? It's all just a bunch of words that don't actually.
Bro,
have any...
she had 0.1% less win rate than they wanted, so they gave her 5 damage.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real problem with this, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just don't see it like being a big deal.
I feel like Kale was undoubtedly stronger last patch than she was the patch before anyway,
Yes.
so I don't see why this was needed.
No, I played her a bit. She's a good counter to certain champions that have really awful early game, because she just outscales them and can bully them with range advantage.
Yeah.
We see Kale as a counter pick to Aatrox now since he has no wave clear at work. No.
No, Aatrox will still just kill Kale, I think.
Okay, so Lee Sin.
All right, Lee Sin. Moving on to Lee Sin here. Base stats: health went from 570.8 to 575. Attack damage went from 69.2 to 70. And then his ultimate Dragon's Rage just got some added damage, extra 25 damage at each level. The only thing I'm gonna say is like, thank God the health and attack damage numbers are not weird decimal points anymore. I just hate it. I hate it whenever any stat is a decimal point, because it's like, why? Why is it a decimal point? Who gives a shit about the decimal point?
Funny thing is, I actually know what the attack damage number for Lee Sin was. It's not 69.2. It's 69.18.
Like,
it's
like why? Why would you ever put a decimal point in there? Like, it makes no sense. Just like, make it a round number. Who cares? Like, just do it. I hate it whenever they do that on any champion. It just bothers me.
But thank
Rounding
God,
numbers is good.
Thank God Lee Sin gained 0.88 more, or 0.82 more attack damage.
Yeah,
dude.
I know, right?
This is gonna give him like 20% win rate buff. I don't know what they were thinking, man. It's over.
I mean, they could have put it just at 69 for all I care. Just as long as it's a round number. Like, come on.
Nah, because then he'd be worse, and Worlds is coming up.
I mean, Worlds is coming up, and we want to see Sven Skaren play Lee Sin, so here are some Lee Sin changes.
We got to see Daddy Brox like kill someone with that extra 25 damage on R.
that extra damage on his ultimate that he only uses every now and then. Oh, man, it's great.
Because you're definitely using R for the damage, not to displace people.
Yeah, that's definitely why you use that, man. That's why you use any ultimate, don't you know?
Yeah, clearly. That's why. That's all I use Soraka ult for, to one-shot the enemy.
Man.
The only ultimate that actually just does that is Syndra ult, which is just for the damage, because that's all it does.
Veigar ultimate.
Yeah, Veigar ultimate.
All the point-and-click mage ults do the same thing, and it's kill you instantly.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. You die without counterplay. Wasn't that interesting?
No, Zhonya's Hourglass is counterplay.
Yeah, I guess so.
But then
that's only on
then
Maven.
you're stuck in place, and you either get Syndra eat or Veigar eat, and then you're.
Oh wait. Tom Kench eating you would also be counterplay, wouldn't it? Like,
That's
if he eats you before it hits you, doesn't that just completely stop it?
Yeah, but
Okay,
like Tom Kench is awful, so we're not.
Yeah, Tom Kench is unplayable. Except
I don't understand why pros keep playing Tom Kench.
Except for when Team Liquid plays Tom Kench Sona bot lane. That's when he's viable again.
Well, even then, I think that's just
just play
against
Tarek.
Sona.
Play Tarek. Tarek is better than Kench.
I don't understand why NA teams can't play against Sona. Every other region knows how to play against Sona, but NA, whatever.
I don't know.
Sona's really squishy. Just hook her.
Yeah, Sona's squishy. It's fine. Just murder her really fast, you know?
Yes. Sona dies sometimes in lane.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Lee Sin. Yeah, it's like, here are some changes to Lee Sin. Just here you go. Like, I don't know, man. Like, this seems like it doesn't matter all that much. They just wanted to do something with Lee Sin, and this is what they decided to do with him.
Pros, look, Worlds, Lee Sin, Worlds, Lee Sin. Don't you want to make people watch our game? Look, Lee Sin, he moves a lot.
Hey, Sven Skaren, hey, here's a bone. Here, take it.
Hey, Daddy Brox, remember that crazy Lee Sin kick that you got on the Gragas that one time that everybody loved? Could you do that again, please?
Now it'll hurt more.
Yeah, it'll kill this time.
Oh man. All right. We'll move on to Misfortune. We kind of poked fun at that enough. Make It Rain, her E. I always called it something else back when I was like learning her back in the day, just because I was like, I don't remember what that ability is called, but it's Make It Rain. The slow is now, instead of 28 to 60%, now it's 40 to 60%. So it's just higher at level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and the same at level 5. It makes her a little better in lane.
Yeah, okay. So like
all it does.
occasionally before you would max E second, now you never max E second.
Yep, never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like you should still be maxing W first and building Bork, because that's still the highest win rate build that nobody does. And you should still max Q second, and then E last. Like this changes like very little. Basically, she's harder to gank, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Her
I could
ultimate is
also
gonna
see it.
get more ticks though because the enemy is slowed more.
That's
I think
true.
this is a good change if Misfortune wasn't such a bad champion in anything higher than silver.
I mean, we might see Koreans start to pick her up again. Like
It's true. Koreans always do weird builds with her that make her like
because
super good.
Korean solo queue, there's this MF build where you rush Bork and you max W first, and you have like 2 attack speed when you press W and have
Yeah.
Bork, and it's like just you melt stuff.
I
But
see that does sound like it could be useful.
so like that I could see maybe popping up once or twice into certain matchups. Maybe we see the return of the MF support.
Yeah, I could see that coming
The
back.
East flow's better, guys. You can 1.1 that. As Zyra becomes meta, it's OP.
It's fine. It's fine. Do it. It's fine. See, what the only real thing I can think of as far as this being useful is like you throw it out at level 1, you know, you get somebody that's right in the middle of it. It lets you get one more auto attack off before they get out of your attack range again.
Yeah, it's like you get like maybe 1 or 2 more ticks of ult, maybe 1 or 2 more auto attacks when chasing somebody. It's meaningful.
Yeah, it's meaningful enough.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think it
Maybe-
makes MF super good, but
Maybe
it's
half a
nice.
percent win rate? Half a percent
I
win
think
rate?
it's more than I think it's closer to 1.
Like it's more meaningful than Jin getting 2 bonus attack damage.
Yes,
at
it's
level 1.
infinitely
Yeah.
more useful than Jin getting 2 AD and Lee Sin getting 1 AD and 25 damage on R. It is more meaningful than both of those things.
It's definitely more meaningful than that. So yeah, I mean, I think it would be really interesting if like we actually see her with these crazy support builds or crazy weird AD carry builds like at Worlds, at least in the group stage, you know, because of these changes. I don't know. I think it would be really entertaining
This
to see her
feels
do
like
something.
a fun plus sort of champion.
Yeah.
See fucking don't be ripping out the MF mid and with some crazy AP Rylai's build.
I know, right? Like, wouldn't that be funny? Like, I would kill for that. I'd be entertained by that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Nunu and Willems changes. Base stats. A lot of changes to base stats. We get health growth from 90 to 82, armor growth from 3.5 to 3, mana from 283.56, another stupid decimal, to 280. Mana regen from 7.44 to 7. And then her snowball barrage, or E, instead of slow just being a straight 50% at all ranks, it is 30 to 50% as it ranks up. I see these as pretty significant.
Well, the thing with Nunu right now is he has a 56% win rate in solo queue, which is insane.
Yeah,
So,
and that's like from like Iron to Challenger. It's Nunu is just way overpowered especially as a Nunu main. 68% win rate on Nunu.
Yeah, when Pansar Dragon is like top 10 in NA, it's like, oh god, what's happening?
Yeah, like I don't see the mana and the mana regen stats being all that big of a deal as far as nerfs go, but the health growth and armor growth I think is huge.
I don't think the armor growth is a big deal because by the time it matters, you already have enough armor that it doesn't matter. But the health growth does matter because Nunu's his Q scales off of health. I think that's actually probably the most meaningful nerf because the E1 you're supposed to max it second, so it'll prevent people from going the wrong build, hopefully. And then you usually get the root off anyway. like you are usually walking past people and then rooting them, so they're still going to get hit with the root. I don't think the only thing I think it will impact is enemies with escape moves. If they get hit with one tick of E and use a speed up, they might be able to escape more often.
I think that E actually matters more than that. I think that if you don't hit someone with a snowball, they can easily get out of it now. Like, if you have anyone with, like, unless Nunu just has, like, 50 more move speed than somebody, if you don't hit the snowball, I don't think you're going to catch them. In most cases.
Yeah, again, it depends on the champion. Lots of champions don't have escapes, so they're still going to get nailed by Nunu. But they usually would have gotten nailed by the snowball anyway without an escape.
Honestly, okay, I think that this is big enough to be like a maybe 1.5% nerf to Nunu,
Yeah,
but
think so.
he's still gonna be ridiculously overpowered in solo queues. So like,
Yeah.
this
No,
is definitely not a big enough nerf, I don't think.
Old Nunu, like the troll old Nunu who couldn't do anything, had over a 50% win rate because being able to win all smite contests is really impactful.
It's like, I don't know, like he is so far over 50. Why don't you just do something like get rid of the shield on his ultimate? Or something along those lines. Like, he doesn't need that. You can get rid of that. That'd lower him 2%.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't even think it would do that much because you're supposed to use your ultimate for zoning people off of for like interrupting the fight between the front and back line to get people to walk out of
Well,
it.
yeah, exactly, which is why the shield matters more than the damage on Nunu's ult.
Yeah, but you're usually not getting attacked while you cast ult. If people were going to attack you, they'd hit you with CC. That would be the thing to do, would be to cast a CC spell, auto you.
Yeah, and that's when you have a shield. Anyway, regardless, Nunu change, not big enough.
I mean, yeah, it's significant, but like, yeah.
Not
Nunu's
significant.
still going to be good, but he's not going to be quite as egregiously overpowered.
Yeah, he goes from like 56 to 54% win rate. He's still ridiculously good in solo queue, just not remarkably OP.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about Teemo because like these are all quality of life buffs. Like that's it. They're all quality of life, other than like maybe one thing about his mushrooms. But so the Q, blinded targets will now see a green light around their screen when they are affected by Teemo's Q. Move Quick's ability icon will now have a bar above it to show its active duration. So a speed boost. Noxus Trap. Mushrooms will now trigger more responsively, especially on enemies dashing through them quickly. Rift Scuddler no longer triggers mushrooms when it's not in combat. Mushrooms can now bounce infinitely off of each. And then instead of getting 3 mushrooms at once at all ranks, you get 3, 4, and 5 as you rank it up. Yeah, basically it's just that if you're playing Teemo or you're playing against Teemo, it is easier to understand what is going on.
Yes. The Noxus
Griffin,
Trap
we saw you
increase.
choked against SKT, so here's some Teemo buffs.
Maybe. I think the increased number of mushrooms on your ultimate is actually kind of a big deal because Teemo's late game win rate is actually is really, really high because he puts these in front of objectives, so the enemy can't take objectives
Well,
very easily.
I think the much bigger deal is that Teemo can now not worry about Scuttle Grab triggering his
Yeah, no, Scuttle
because
Crab.
now you can just sit top lane, push out the wave, walk into jungle, throw them in the middle of the freaking river, and the enemy jungle just can't play the game anymore. Like,
Yeah, basically.
No, Teemo will be more oppressive if he gets ahead and is able to invade and lay a bunch of traps down to ruin jungle clear.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really funny about how they can now bounce infinitely off of each other. So you just wait until you have 3, 4, or 5 of them all pooled up, sit in one spot, and just make a line going down river where they just keep bouncing off of each other to make a line. I think that's really funny.
Yeah, no, the Teemo being able to just block off areas by putting shrooms in front of each other, with especially 5 shrooms, you might be able to like block off the whole river.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious.
I mean, I think that will be useful for sure. I mean, I think Teemo probably won't get a lot of win rate though, because people won't use their auto attack resets when they're blinded, hopefully.
I can't wait to see, like, oh god, what's his name? Vandrel, the guy who does like ridiculous custom game stuff, like have a Teemo steal Baron from base by bouncing a mushroom all the way. Like,
Oh, that'd be great. That would be fantastic. I'd watch that. I'd watch that a lot. But yeah, just a bunch of quality of life stuff for Teemo. Really, like it's nothing. No major buffs or nerfs really. It's just like nice quality of life things that make him more interesting to play and easier to understand if you're playing against him.
Yeah.
So good stuff there. Warwick, his W is a blood hunt. He just gets a bug fix where he now properly gains bonus attack speed against all blood hunted enemies. I didn't even know there was a bug for that. So all right.
Yeah, there was a bug for that. All the Warwick mains were complaining about it for like 2 months. And they couldn't fix it.
So right in time for all of the silver players to make their final attempt to climb to gold, we can get the Warwick bug fix in there for the Warwick mains. Good for them.
Yeah, it's good. We shouldn't have needless bugs in the game for no good reason.
Yeah, I mean, but they felt that it was a significant bug fix enough that like it doesn't go down on the bug fix list at the bottom of the patch notes with all the other ones.
Well, it's because the Warwick mains aren't gonna read that. They don't have. It's only 2 IQ. You need 3 IQ to check for bug fixes in the bug fix section. Come on.
Yeah, I also think this is actually pretty darn significant as a buff. Like, I think this might be a % win rate not having that dumb bug ruin your attacks.
I actually don't know how often this bug happened. But...
Yeah,
it was like almost all the time. It was really awful.
Okay, yeah. In that case, this is probably like 1.5 to 2% win rate bug.
Yeah, yeah. It was a pretty terrible bug, and that's why Warwick, they kept buffing him, but he didn't go up in win rate. It was because of this dumb bug.
All right.
Yeah, so that's important.
Yeah, that is
good for the Warwick mains.
Good for them. Xayah, her base stats armor went from 28 to 25, and then Featherstorm's cooldown went from 140 to 110. A nerf to 160 to 130. Basically increasing the cooldown by 20 seconds at each level. Essentially just makes her a less safe pick in laning phase and after, is all it does.
The armor matters more than the ult.
Maybe. The armor does matter more in lane. It does kind of classify Xayah more as a damage-focused AD carry rather than a utility one, which I think is fine because Xayah does deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, the thing with the ult, though, like, almost anytime you see it change to an ult cooldown, like, there are some exceptions to this with certain champions, but almost always it's a placebo buffer nerf. Like, it's going to feel bad. Like, the Akali one, for example, Akali's playmaking is reliant on her ultimate, so that CDR matters. Whereas Xayah, her ultimate is only used to not die. So unless you are constantly fighting, you're not going to notice that your ult's down for an extra 10 seconds because you're building CDR anyway. You're not going to, like, this 20 seconds is not 20 seconds. You're rushing Essence Reaver. So, like,
yeah,
it's not
you get
as big
nailed
as
by a Nautilus ult that you wouldn't have. Like, I think it could be impactful in, like, when the enemy has, like, really scary ultimates that can't really dodge by using your.
It's not a non-factor, but it's just not that big. It's like,
yeah,
together this feels like 0.5%.
Yeah, probably.
Like I mean, like it adds 20 seconds to the cooldown, so like it's only gonna make a difference if you're getting into situations like in that 20-second window.
Yeah.
Where like you would need your ultimate and it's not there. But like if you're paying attention to your cooldowns, which players should be paying attention to their cooldowns, you should be making better decisions so that like that's not going to matter anyway.
Yes. You should not be getting hooked when you have your ultimate off cooldown.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
But yeah, still the armor reduction still makes it so that like she is a less safe pick in lane. Pairing this up with the Caitlyn attack damage buff, like Caitlyn's gonna be a better pick in Xayah.
Well, she's already a great pick in Xayah.
Yeah,
like,
so now she's even better.
Yeah, I mean, Xayah is still going to be probably the best ADC in pro play. I don't see this making her a worse AD carry in pro play. She's probably still number one. Kai'Sa got nerfed harder, and she was already worse. Caitlyn is still a counter to her, but only NA is playing Caitlyn.
Yeah, this might
no other
actually
ADCs
benefit.
even close, really.
This might benefit NA teams because they can play the counter and the other regions can't because Xayah is so good.
When are we going to see Ezreal nerfs? Like,
Didn't they? Haven't they been nerfing him for like a couple patches, but they just
I-
nerf his AP ratios over and
yeah,
over
they
again?
nerfed the AP build, but people were already building him AD more often than AP anyway. So that was like, that was like a change for 4 months ago that just happened now. People are already going back to the AD build, and he's still like highest pick priority in like the Asian region. So
Yeah.
I mean, don't complain about my boy Ezreal. Leave my boy alone.
Bro, I have my highest mastery champion is Ezreal, and even I can admit he's really strong right now and should not be this strong. He's been strong for
Yeah.
way too long. It's
Yeah.
just like Aatrox. He's so boring. Nothing happens in lane because you just E away. I'm sick
Yeah.
of seeing him. Get rid of him.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
like seeing Ezreal all the time. He's really safe and he makes bot lanes boring.
All right. Zoe is the final champion on the patch notes here. Just a buff to her passive. Her passive went from 10 to 124 damage, levels 1 to 18. Now it just added 6 damage to each one of those levels, so it's 16 to 130. That's all it did.
Well, it's actually bigger in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 8 damage in some of the middle.
Oh, yeah,
parts.
you're right. It is 8 damage. That's
For some reason, it's
I didn't wanna look
6
at
to
all of them.
8 to 6 again.
yeah.
Because late game, it being 8 would be too much. So
Yeah.
they had to lower it again.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. I just, I didn't want to look at every single number because, like, that's a lot of numbers to all, like, compare, like, quickly here. But yeah, so basically just makes her slightly stronger, like, in laning phase, I guess, for the most part, is all it really touches because, like, the damage on her passive, like, doesn't matter nearly as much in late game as her Q damage or comboing the stun into the Q. So, like,
This is a fairly meaningless change.
Yeah, this
Don't
is
think
like...
it will have an effect on win. This might be more meaningless than the 2 AD on Jin.
I think it's more meaningful.
No, this is 6 damage. Jin's was 2 damage. This is
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
2 damage on all of his abilities and autos. This is just one auto attack.
But
That Zoe doesn't usually get
this
in
every
auto
time you
attack
cast
range.
a spell.
Yeah, that is true, but you shouldn't usually be in auto attack range with Zoe, especially against certain
Well,
champions.
if you're going for a kill on Zoe, you're proccing this like 3 times probably because you're proccing it off E, you're proccing it off Q, and you're proccing it off alt. So like ultimately you're getting like 20 more damage in an all-in. Maybe that matters. It's still
Maybe.
nothing. Like
It's like
this is still
Scorch.
nothing. I don't understand why this is here.
I mean, like, it helps her CS, but I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
If you're gonna buff Zoe, buff her W. I think that's proven to be the best way to buff Zoe.
I don't think they really wanted to buff Zoe, but they just wanted to like tease Zoe mains. That seems to be the rationale
Do
because
they want
people
to see Zoe in pro again? Is that why this is here? Like, hey, pros.
who
remember
wants to see Zoe in pro.
Exactly. No one wants to see Zoe anywhere.
Yeah, I want that champion removed from the game.
Just EQ me with 0-0. EQ me with a Ludens at level 5, and I'm dead. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like, it's a shame that the patch ends on like such a weird note with Zoe. Like I would have rather had like Xayah been the final thing we talked about because that's at least more interesting to that's more interesting than this, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so there are some bug fixes on the patch. We're not going to discuss all the bug
There's
fixes.
one important bug fix. Champions affected by stasis no longer move during the effect. This is great. There'd be less people getting Lee Sin kicked while Zoniazing. That freaking bug. That was
I've
annoying.
never seen that bug in my life.
I have no idea. So.
Yeah, it just happened once, but somebody tried to Zonia's like mid Lee Sin kick and they got like tossed. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean, that's a yikes. The Taliyah one sounds interesting. I don't know how that works, but it's weird.
Yeah.
Like, did did you like cast Q as you were walking off and it still costs 1 mana? Because if so, that's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think that was that common. Like I'm kind of proactive on the looking at bugs and stuff, but I don't think that happened that often. But it occasionally would just like not register mana.
The Alawi one's actually pretty important. Like Alawi W dashing while snared happened all the time. It's nice that that's
Yeah,
not a thing.
that did happen a lot.
So that's still, that's not a thing. None of these
Yeah.
are like super big, I don't think, though.
No.
It's good to remove bugs from the game.
Yep.
but
Yeah. That's
they're
it,
not
really.
that impactful.
They're not impactful. The final thing we'll talk about before we end the stream today. Hey, there are new skins, everybody. Check those out. We got Star Guardian Nico Prestige Edition, Star Guardian Nico, Star Guardian Zaya and Rakan, and Star Guardian Zoe. Just more Star Guardian skins to reinforce how unimportant Star Guardian skins are anymore.
Star
Yeah.
Guardian Zoe is so hideous.
Yeah.
Star Guardian used to be a cool thing because there were only 5 of them, and it was like a Sailor Moon reference. Now it's not a Sailor Moon reference anymore. It's just a skin line that's popular, so they make more of them.
Bro, I can't wait
Yeah.
for Pajama Guardian Nico.
That might look cool. Yeah, I don't think this is that interesting. The Zoe one looks awful. The Nico one looks not awful. Zaya and Rakan are kind of shaded out too much.
I'll be completely honest, the Zaya and Rakan one just looks more Elderwood than Star Guardian to me.
Yeah, they should call it. Yeah, they don't look like Star Guardian,
I don't know.
but they're kind of Force themed anyway. So I don't know why they got a Star Guardian skin. Why didn't they
Because
get
the
a?
Star Guardian skin.
Well, see, the thing is, Zaya and Rakan skins sell really well, and so do Star Guardian skins. So when you
Yeah.
combine them together, it sells really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
500 IQ.
Yeah.
And there's
right?
some chromas. The Zoe chromas look particularly unpleasant.
This Zoe skin in general just looks unpleasant. I don't know. The
Yeah.
eyes are so ridiculous. Like actually pull up the image. Like if you click on it, you can enlarge. Yeah, look at the eyes. It's like
It's an ugly skin, but the other ones look pretty nice. But
Yeah, the other ones are
did we really
fine.
need-
I don't know, whatever.
Did we
It's like
really
a-
need more Star Guardian skins?
No, we didn't.
No,
We really
we
didn't.
didn't.
Could you at least bring back the event if you're bringing back this skin line? The event's the only fun thing about it anymore, but I'm pretty sure
No. Sell the skins. Sell skins. You don't sell skins if you give people free opportunities to get them.
I'm pretty sure they discontinued PvE, by the way. So, cool, Riot. Very cool.
All right. Anyway, I've ranted enough about Star Guardian stuff. But anyway, that's the entire patch. That's patch 9.18. That is coming out. Oh crap! Is that coming out tomorrow or is that coming out next week?
Patches come out on Wednesdays, I believe, right?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think if it's like tomorrow.
Yeah,
'Cause
so it's
tomorrow's
gonna-
Wednesday.
Yeah, so it's gonna be.
Is it
tomorrow.
tomorrow? Does this
Yeah.
come out tomorrow? Okay. All right. So yeah, this patch comes out tomorrow. Oh yeah, September 12th is when the skins are available. So the skins will come out the day after the patch, which is tomorrow. So there we go.
Did you just like divert away from saying September 11th was when the patch comes out, and you tried to find something else to say? 'Cause that's what it sounded.
No,
like.
that is not what I did on. I didn't
That's
do
what
that
it
on
sounded
purpose.
like. You're like, yeah. So the patch will come out on 9. The skins will be out on 9.
No, it did look like you were like dodging that word.
No, I didn't. That's not what I was doing. I was scanning the paragraph at the top of the patch to see if it had the date in there, and I saw 9/12, and I almost said the patch comes out on 9/12, and then I realized, wait, that's not a Wednesday, so I had to like recover and say that like the skins come out on the 12th.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what that was about. Anyway, so there's the stream rundown, guys. We plan on doing more streams that are not just streaming the matches that happen. So we might do more of these in the future. We're testing it out, see how well it goes this time, and we'll do the World's Patch too, see how well it goes. And if we think it's good, if we think it's worthwhile, we'll do it next season as well. But yeah, so that's it from all of us. We will catch you guys on the next match that gets streamed, which will be happening later this week. And hopefully next time we won't be muted in the beginning. That's true. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you later this week for the next match that we stream here. And until then, see you later.